Okay, so we looked at what the female psychology is, what the female mindset is. And now it's time to talk about what women actually want. So not necessarily what women think they want and what society tells them they want, but it's important that we understand what women actually want inside. Because if you understand what a woman truly desires out of a man, what her feminine nature desires in a man, you're going to be able to better fulfill that role. And not fulfill the role from a context of, I need to appease this woman, I need to make the woman feel like, yay. But it's, so you can actually get success. You get more success when you understand, what the woman actually wants. Because I assume that your goal here is to try to meet more girls. Your goal in getting this program is to try to get more sex, to get an amazing girlfriend, right? Whatever it is, or to have choice in your dating life. So you have to understand what a woman's nature truly wants. Before we get into that, it's important we understand what society wants a girl to want, right? What does society want a woman to actually want out of you as a man? Society tells women that they want a guy who is a value guy, a guy who gives value, a guy who's a value provider. And when I say value, it's important that you understand what I mean by value is, I have a good job. I have cool hobbies. I have cool passions. Girls are taught from a young age that is what they're supposed to want out of a guy. The same way our parents teach us, and now society is evolving and changing a bit, but the roots are still there. Our parents generally teach us you want a woman that can, complement your provider status. A nice girl. You want a nice girl who's not a slut, not a girl who's sexually open and sexually crazy. You want a girl that's more calm. A girl that has those provider family traits, those family instincts, those family motherly traits, right? Especially I grew up in that culture, probably even a little bit more in a very Christian fundamentalist Christian culture, where it was, you meet the nice girl that your parents kind of get to know as well, like, which is fine, but you don't want your parents picking the fucking girl for you. I kind of grew up in that kind of culture where they're like, the parents kind of make everything happen for you, with you kind of going along with it. You meet the perfect nice little girl who's gonna stay at home and be the nice little mom, right? Now, society doesn't go that far all the time, and I'm sure a lot of you guys probably are not experiencing that level of insanity like I experienced. But there is still some of this. There is still some of, you have to find that kind of girl. And for girls, it's the same thing. What kind of guy are they told to settle down with? A value guy. The guy who is not the fuckboy. But it's not even settle down with. Those are the kind of guys that they're told to choose to fuck, actually. That's who they're told to choose to fuck, because no one's thinking that people are going to hook up. No one's thinking that, you're just going to be attracted to a cool fucking dude who can make you feel these emotions. What you're taught is that the kind of guy that you want to spend your time with is a guy that can provide value. Not even a guy that's going to give you money. We're not talking about sugar daddies and sugar babies. I'm not going that far, but it's a guy that, provides that value. The guy that has the good job and has all his shit together, but that's what attracts you. Those are the kind of guys you should get. Now, I'm not saying as a man that you shouldn't have your shit together, but I'm saying for women, they're taught that that's what they should prioritize. That's what they should be attracted to. The nice guy, the guy that has the value, the good, responsible guy with all the fucking value. All right, I call it the guy who wins. The guy who wins. The guy who has his shit together. And this is good. It's good to have your shit together. But women are told that that's the only thing that matters. Women are told that that's what kind of guy they want. Right? And that's not necessarily true. Let's look into what women actually want. And I know this because laying in bed next to fuck buddies for the last 3 fucking years, fuck buddies and girlfriends, and hearing them and their friends talk about the kind of guys they actually are trying to fuck on the low, where their parents don't know about it, the kind of guys that they actually want is much different than what society tells them they want, or what their family tells them they want, or what, the mainstream says you should want. So what do feminine women want? What does a feminine woman want? So one of the biggest things that feminine women look for when I say feminine women, I'm talking about women that are, more so reactive, and reactive in a good way. It's a good thing for a woman to be reactive. If a woman is not reactive, can handle tension, it's like, yeah, a lot of times us as masculine men are not very attracted to that kind of girl, right? Some guys are, but generally we're not attracted to that. So for the majority of us, we're attracted to more feminine women, okay? So a feminine woman wants to understand that everything's going to be okay. She wants to understand that, when she goes out and if she meets a guy, the guy that she decides to give her time to, whether it's time through her vagina and just sex, or whether it's time through, dating and maybe a more long-term relationship, she wants to be able to feel that when I'm with this guy, everything is going to be okay, right? There's going to be no drawback to me, no consequence for me actually giving him my time. There's going to be no consequence. She wants to understand that there's going to be a clear path and direction. Part of understanding that everything's going to be okay for a woman, part of that feeling of everything's going to be okay, is getting that clear path and direction and the feeling of security. right? This is not a value trait. This is part of value. Having a good job can help you with this, but you can also convey this through your emotions and through your communication, which is why earlier what I said is women value communication, right? Women value communication. But here, what women actually want, what they desire is this feeling that everything's going to be okay, and you can convey this through communication. Now, what they want is, again, to understand there's a clear path and direction. For example, when I'm leaving a club with a girl, or if I'm going out and meeting a girl during the day, or I have a girl that I'm dating, and we have to make decisions, it's usually up to me to make those decisions. When it's up to the girl to make those decisions and plan everything out, the girl kind of gets flustered. Now, this is not to say that women can't make decisions, because some guys will run with this and be like, yeah, women can't make decisions. Men are the alpha dogs. And I'm not saying that, because in the corporate world, in business, in work, women can fucking crush it. Absolutely. But when it comes to the dating dynamic and the masculine and feminine interaction in dating, a lot of times men are the ones that make those decisions, and we are responsible to make those decisions because women respect a man that can make them feel everything's going to be fine. A lot of this is actually based in evolution and stuff like that, but like I've said 10 times already, this is not an evolutionary psychology course. But what happens is, you as a man, if you can make the woman feel everything's going to be okay, that's when you're going to get success, because the woman wants to feel that when she's with you, there is a clear path and clear direction, that you know what's going to happen next, that you're like, hey, so the plan today is we're going to go here, we're going to do this. She knows that the plan is, hey, this is what's happening next. The woman knows, the woman actually feels that when I'm with this guy, everything's going to be okay. Okay? And part of that, knowing everything's going to be okay, is also a feeling of security. Knowing that when she's with you, nothing can go wrong. And again, this comes in many different forms. Some guys tend to go do this through getting jacked, hitting the gym, and learning martial arts, which is great. And a lot of my mentors have suggested I do that. Right now, looking at the size of my arms, I have not been slamming it at the gym and learning martial arts. But one thing that you can also do to make the girl feel that security is being very socially aware and socially intelligent. So that, when other guys come in and try to hit on your girl, it's like, you know how to handle shit. You know how to solve problems, right? You know these kind of things. That's what women value emotionally. Another thing that women really value is emotional expression, right? Emotional expression. And this is feminine women specifically. When a woman has stifled emotions, and this happens when she has a man who can't handle tension, a man who reacts to tension, she stifles her emotions more, because again, the feminine reacts to tension and the masculine absorbs tension. But when the balance is off, it goes like this, and the woman starts to react to tension, starts to absorb tension because the man is reacting to it. So there's an imbalance, right? But when a woman is allowed to express herself emotionally, she's going to be happier. She's going to desire you more. Women desire that emotional expression. They desire that emotional wavelength. The big part of my game is telling these stories and these little role plays where I make the girl feel all these kind of emotions. And we'll see more of that when we get into the infield part of this program, right? When we go over infield footage and we break down how to actually have success with women. But women value this emotional expression, this wide range of emotions, okay? So if you have more tension in your interactions with women or more tension in your relationships, women are going to be feeling a wider range of emotions, right? If you have more tension, women are going to feel a wider range of emotions. Because when there's more tension, the woman is, it's more like, oh my God, what's next? He's absorbing all this tension. I have to react to it. Women react to the tension. That's why women giggle and laugh when they like a guy. What are the biggest indicators of interest from a girl? She's giggling, she's moving her hair, she's twirling her hair around, she's batting her eyes, she's fidgeting, she's stammering over her words, she's acting nervous. She starts to express that feminine energy, right? When there's more of that feminine energy, when there's more of that feminine energy and there's more tension, the woman's going to be able to express her emotions. She's going to be able to express that wide range of emotions. That is what makes her attracted, and that is what women desire. They desire that freedom of feminine expression. Right? The wider her range of emotions, the more security she feels. Because the more she's able to express her emotions with you, and I'm specifically talking about with men. Now, in friends and social circles, it's a little different. But when she's with a man, what she desires out of a man is that the more she can express those emotions, the more security she's going to feel. Because the more tension there is, the more you handle that tension as a man, the more you don't react, the more grounded you are, the more security she's going to feel, and the more she's going to express. Right? So the more tension there is, the more she expresses, the more she reacts, and the more she reacts, the more she shows those emotions. And the more emotion she shows, the more up and down the roller coaster goes, the more security she feels. Now, it's kind of a paradox because sometimes girls will freak out. Sometimes girls will be like, what? Like, oh my God, like they'll cry and they'll do kinds of shit like that. They'll bitch and complain, which is fine. It's beautiful. Getting quotes around, it's beautiful. It's feminine energy, right? But you as a man, if you can handle that and rest in that tension and not succumb to that tension, you're more attractive, right? And she begins to express her feminine energy. She begins to express herself more, and she begins to feel more secure with you. Now, one thing I want to also add is that the more security a woman feels, the more she feels with you that everything's going to be okay, the more she's likely to act in the moment. This is going to sound really funny, but when I have a girl that I've been fucking for a while, that I've been sleeping with for a while, I actually do a little kind of a test with her. What I'll do is I'll take her to a club and I'll try to fuck her in the bathroom. And I do this with a lot of the girls that I date. I'll take her to a club. There's a cool club in New York. I'm not going to say the name so everyone doesn't run there and go try to fuck in the bathroom. But there's a cool club in New York that I've been going to for like the past year. It's a pretty decently high-end club. I mean, the door, not everyone gets in all the time, but it's a pretty nice club. It's pretty exotic. And in there's like bathrooms where you can bring people in and just fuck them. They're like little closets. So I routinely, what I'll do is I'll kind of test where my relationship is at with the girl by seeing how comfortable she feels fucking me in the bathroom and going along that little narrative storyline with me. Right? And what happens is I kind of know how much the girl trusts me and how much security she has with me based on if she trusts me with that experience. And more often than not, it works. And we have a great time. We end up having banging sex in the bathroom. We're like, oh my God, we're going to get caught. And she feels great. And we feel great. We go on and then go back home and have more sex. Right? But that's a big test I do because I want to see how much security does this girl have. Because the more security a woman has with you, the more security a girl has, the more she's going to act in the moment. The more she's going to act and just flow freely in the moment. The more she's going to do those crazy things. The more she's going to take those crazy risks. Again, this is why you hear those crazy stories of like the cool promoters or the bouncers, or not bouncers, but like the bartenders, like fucking or getting head from some girl behind the bar counter. Or like these crazy stories of, again, fucking girls in the bathroom or a girl gets like fucked in an alley. Again, because the more attractive she is, the more attention that guy's able to handle. These attractive men who don't react to tension, these attractive guys who have this fuckboy framing, those guys are able to unlock her emotions because they are able to handle tension. They don't react to tension. And we're going to get into how to do this later. But they don't react to tension. And because they don't react to the tension, what happens is the girl experiences these emotions. She experiences these emotional highs. And when she experiences these emotions, she has this deeper sense of security with that man. She is more secure with him. And because she's more secure with him, what happens? She acts in the moment. She feels it is okay if I take this risk in the moment. There's no risk to me. I can take a risk in the moment. Like if I go do this action right now, if I go and I take this action with this guy, there's going to be no risk to me. Now that's the good stuff. It's kind of, let's get into like the bad, kind of the sad part about this, the downside, which you may be experiencing if you're looking at this program. You may be experiencing it so you can learn it yourself. Why do a lot of women lack this? Why do a lot of women lack this free range of emotions and this sense of security? Why do women not act in the moment? Why do guys struggle with pulling girls out of clubs all the time, taking girls home? Why do guys struggle with having girls trust them and follow their lead and do what they say without bitching constantly and fighting at every single turn? The reason why is because a lot of women simply lack these emotions. They don't have the emotions. They don't have the wide range of emotions because most guys are only scratching the surface, my friend. Most guys only ever scratch the surface. Even in like 25-year marriages. Now, I've seen this because I have students that have come out of those marriages and have asked me to coach them and teach them personally. And the reason why the relationship just imploded or the girl never reached that part where she fully trusted him and just they had these amazing experiences together and they did crazy sexual things and had crazy adventures. The reason why they never got this is because the girl didn't have security with the guy because she never got the emotions. She never trusted him. They never took that path. They never took that path together, right? Why do women lack it? Well, a lot of times if the guy is reacting to tension, if the guy is not attractive, if the guy has not learned how to get these emotions, these deeper level emotions. I'm talking about deep level emotions where the girl is on this emotional roller coaster. When the guy is not able to access those emotions from the girl, that doesn't mean you always have to cause them, but when he can't access those emotions, what happens is the girl becomes bitter and jaded. She becomes jaded because she has to bear the brunt of the emotions in the relationship. Right? When I say bear the brunt, I mean she has to not react to the emotions. She's not free to just react and go and come and flow emotionally. She can't fully exercise her feminine energy. She has to be the rock. She has to be the one who doesn't react because the man is reactive. The man is reacting to the tension. Right? And that essentially is what caused her to become bitter and jaded and lack trust in the man. She lacks trust with him. Right? And what happens is when women do this, they become unattractive. They become unattractive. They become, you see the traditional old, tired mom who doesn't want to have sex because of that. Now, I'm not saying necessarily that this is like these emotions are the recipe all the time, because I mean, kids come into the picture, and I'm talking about long-term relationships now. But if you're going out and you're approaching women, you're a young guy, I assume that some of you guys who are looking at this are not always going to be jumping into relationships and marriage. I assume a lot of you guys are not. The fuckboy frame, probably applicable to a lot of guys who are not at that stage in their life, right? But what happens is a lot of guys, because they never hit this point with the woman, because they never hit this point where the woman is, is experiencing these emotions and freely flowing in these emotions, what happens is the woman becomes bitter and jaded, and thus she becomes unattractive. She becomes emotionally worn out because she's bearing the anchor. She's the anchor and the person who's not reacting. She's the person who has to handle the tension. She's not allowed to just be free like the wind. She has to be the emotional anchor. All right? And that's what happens. The woman becomes unattractive. She becomes bogged down, worn down. Her masculine energy starts to show. Her feminine gets suppressed and her masculine begins to show. She's less emotionally free. She doesn't have the freedom to express those emotions, which is why what happens, it's a crazy indicator. You try to turn her on. This may happen if you've ever been in a relationship. You try to turn the girl on. You try to have sex with her after you've been dating for a year. It's happened to me. And she's like, no, I'm tired. I'm not feeling it tonight. Like, you have to schedule sex. There's no in the moment, just, baby, let's fucking do this shit. Maybe rare times, but it's not up there. Maybe the girls that you even date, like fuck buddies, you have to like call them and drag them out. It's not like they're begging you like, hey, can I fuck you? Can we fucking do anal? Can you fuck me in the ass, daddy? They're not doing that. It's like you have to convince them to do it. Like all these guys ask, how do you convince your girl to do anal online? I mean, the reason why a lot of guys experience this with the girls fighting at every turn and not just, I want to do these crazy things with you, is because the woman's emotions are stifled. The woman is not experiencing this wavelength of emotion. She's not experiencing this emotional high, this emotional roller coaster where she freely wants to act in the moment. She doesn't feel that security. And that's what women want. They want those experiences. Again, I know because I fucked a lot of girls that have never experienced it, and I was able to let them experience it. I've also been on the other side where I had girls that couldn't experience this with me because I hadn't worked on myself enough yet. I hadn't learned how to implement the fuckboy frame into my own life. I hadn't learned this, right? So a lot of times the girls would never experience this with me, but recently, the last 2 years, I mean, I've been able to date girls and have them experience this, and I have had these amazing sexual experiences with girls in these amazing relationships because I've been able to tap into this, and tap into these deeper level emotions, which made the girl feel more security. All right. Now, where does the fuckboy frame come in? I mentioned this, and this is the name of the program. Where does the fuckboy frame actually come in? How does this apply? Well, like I said before, the fuckboy frame embodies making the girl feel everything's going to be okay. It makes the girl feel, hey, we're going on this emotional roller coaster together, but I can handle so much tension. I can handle it. I'm non-reactive enough that this emotional roller coaster you're about to go down of crazy emotions, I can handle it for you. Right? Doesn't mean that you're the value guy where you're providing for her, handling it that way, but I can handle it in the sense of, this is okay, this is enough. This is fine. Like, you're good. You're good when you're with me. Everything's going to be fine. You're going to experience these crazy emotions like drama, right? Drama, storytelling, all of this shit, which is things I like to do in my own game. But what happens is it's fine when you experience it with me because everything's going to be okay. Another aspect of the fuckboy frame is being able to lead and follow that clear path and direction. Hey, we're doing this. Let's go. Let's make this happen. You'll see the infield footage in module number 3. Like, you are able to embody this clear path and clear direction. You know what's next. You know that everything is going to be okay. And this is the path that you guys can follow. And lastly, you are able to unlock her emotional expression, right? You can unlock the girl's emotions. You are hitting those beyond those surface level emotions. You're no longer hitting the emotions that are on the surface, those little itty bit emotions where she like maybe giggles and laughs and goes on a date with you, but you're experiencing those deep emotions where she's like, who is this guy? This guy drives me fucking insane. Like, right? This guy drives me fucking insane. Who is this fucking guy? I need this man. I crave this guy. Because she's experiencing these deep layer emotions. Okay, what we're going to crack into next is the woman's sexuality. Because we've talked about, the principles of her psychology, the principles of what she wants. But let's talk about sexually. What does a woman want? Because sex is a huge part of the fuckboy frame and being able to convey yourself as a sexual, attractive man. Let's crack into that.